Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived an old lady named Sita. She was very wise. Everyone in the village knew her. People used to visit her to get the guidance. Children ran to greet her whenever they saw her. Shopkeepers smiled when she walked past. Even travelers passing through the village often stopped to talk to her. The strange thing was, she was not rich. She did not live in a big house. She did not wear expensive clothes, yet somehow she always looked happy. She always seemed peaceful, and nobody knew why. Every morning, before the sun rose, Sita would walk to the river carrying a small clay pot. She would sit quietly near the water, watch the sunrise, and smile. Then she would return home and begin her day. She was living alone, but she was very happy. People often wondered what made her so different. One afternoon, a young woman named Kavya came to visit her. Kavya was married and had 2 young children. She often argued with her husband. Her children did not listen to her, and at the end of each day, she felt tired and frustrated. She sat beside Sita, and Kavya said, "My husband argues with me all the time. My children don't listen to me. I am very frustrated. Everyone says you are the happiest person in the village. What is your secret?" Sita laughed softly. "My secret?" "Yes," said Kavya. "You are always smiling, even when things go wrong." Sita said, "I was not always like this." Kavya's eyes widened. "You weren't?" Sita shook her head. "When I was young, I worried about almost everything." Kavya was surprised. "You?" "Yes," Sita said. "If I did not earn enough money, I was worried. If my day was not going the way I had planned, I worried. If something small went wrong, I would keep thinking about it for hours." Sita laughed softly. Sita said, "Let's go outside. I will show you something." Then Sita pointed toward a mango tree standing nearby. "Do you see that tree?" "Yes. Many years ago, that tree taught me something." Kavya looked confused. "A tree?" Sita smiled. "Listen, when I was young, I used to pass that tree every day. One year it was full of mangoes. The next year there were fewer. Some years birds ate the fruit. Some years storms knocked branches down. But every spring, the tree did the same thing. It grew new leaves. Again and again." Kavya listened carefully. "One day, I remember standing under that tree after a difficult week. Nothing was going the way I wanted. I was upset. Then an old farmer walked past me. He looked at the tree and smiled. I asked him, 'Why are you smiling? Half the fruit is gone.' The farmer laughed. Then he said something I never forgot. He said, 'Sita, you're looking at what the tree lost. I'm looking at what it still has.'" Kavya became quiet. Sita continued. "That one sentence stayed in my mind. For days I kept thinking about it. I spent so much time worrying about what was missing that I forgot to notice what was already good in my life. Then one morning I asked myself a question that changed my life." Kavya leaned forward. "What question?" Sita smiled. "Instead of asking, 'What is missing?' I started asking, 'What is still here?' If a problem came, I still saw the problem, but I also looked for what was still good. If a plan failed, I looked for what was still possible. If something was lost, I looked for what remained." Kavya asked, "And did it work?" Sita laughed and said, "Not overnight, but slowly, yes." She pointed around the village. "I noticed friends I had ignored. I noticed beautiful mornings. I noticed kindness. I noticed opportunities." Kavya sat quietly beside her. Finally she asked, "So the thought that changed your life was, stop looking only at what is missing. Start looking at what is still here." For a moment, Kavya sat quietly. She kept thinking about Sita's words. The next morning, she decided to try it for herself. When her husband helped her with a small household task, she paid attention to that instead of thinking about their last argument. When her children hugged her and laughed with her, she focused on those moments instead of only thinking about the times they did not listen. Little by little, she started noticing many good things in her relationship with her husband and children. A few days later, Kavya visited Sita again. This time, Kavya arrived with a smile. Sita looked at her and asked, "So what changed?" Kavya smiled and replied, "My relationship with my husband has become better. My children listen to me more often now, and our home feels much more peaceful." Sita smiled and asked, "And what do you think made the difference?" Kavya said, "Earlier, I only focused on what was missing. If my husband and I had one argument, I forgot about all the good moments. If my children did not listen once, I ignored all the times they did. But now, I pay more attention to what is still there. The love, the good moments. Now, I started focusing more on good things in my life rather than what is missing in my life. Since then, my life improved a lot. So start focusing more on what is good in your life rather than what is missing in your life. If You focus on good things, you will attract more good things.